What if the world you are seeing right now has never actually existed in the way you believe it does? What if the colors around you are inventions? The objects around you are guesses, and reality itself is more like a shadow than a solid stage. Because for more than 100 years, we believed Einstein had given us the ultimate blueprint of the universe. The universe built from space, time, matter, and rules that existed whether we looked at them or not. But modern physics has quietly begun to tear that certainty apart, piece by piece, experiment by experiment, equation by equation. And this is where we turn the strangest discoveries in science into stories you can feel and imagine. Because the biggest shock in modern physics didn't arrive with an explosion or a spaceship launch. It arrived in silence, hidden in data that refused to obey common sense. And it started with a question so simple it almost sounds childish. What is the universe doing when nobody is watching it? Imagine a coffee mug sitting on your desk. You leave the room and close the door. The mug remains there. Your intuition insists on it. Your entire life experience depends on it. And Einstein agreed with you. He famously said he liked to think the moon was still there even when he wasn't looking at it. Because the idea that reality depends on observation sounded absurd to him. And for decades, most physicists agreed, until quantum mechanics arrived and began whispering a different story. A story so strange, Einstein called it incomplete. Not because the math was wrong, but because the implications felt impossible to accept. Quantum mechanics revealed that particles behave like waves. Objects exist in multiple possibilities at once, and outcomes remain undefined until measurement happens. And here comes the first major reveal. Particles do not appear to have definite properties until they interact with something. Not hidden properties, not unknown properties, but literally undefined ones. Meaning the universe at its smallest scales does not behave like a collection of tiny solid objects. It behaves like a cloud of possibilities waiting to be resolved. And this was not a philosophical debate. Scientists built experiments to test it, and the results were shocking. The double-slit experiment became the most famous demonstration of this strange behavior. Imagine firing single particles at a wall with two tiny openings. If particles were tiny, solid balls, they would pass through one slit or the other. But instead, they create a wave pattern, as if they passed through both slits at the same time. Yet the moment scientists try to observe which slit the particle uses, the wave pattern disappears and the particle behaves like a single solid object again. The act of observation changes the outcome, not because of human consciousness, but because of interaction itself. And this leads to the second reveal. Reality appears to behave differently depending on whether information about it exists. And this idea slowly grew from strange curiosity to experimental certainty. As decades passed and technology improved, scientists began testing the limits of this phenomenon, pushing the boundaries further and further, until they reached a discovery so strange it challenged one of Einstein's deepest beliefs. The idea of local realism. Local realism is the belief that objects exist independently and cannot instantly influence distant objects faster than light. Einstein called faster than light influence spooky action at a distance and believed it must be wrong. Yet experiments continued to produce results that contradicted his intuition. And in 2022, the Nobel Prize in Physics was awarded to scientists who performed experiments proving that the universe violates local realism. Particles separated by huge distances can influence each other instantly through quantum entanglement, meaning reality might be deeply interconnected beyond space and time. And here comes the third major reveal. Space and time themselves may not be the fundamental stage of the universe. They may be emergent properties. Like temperature emerging from atoms, something deeper may be creating the illusion of space and time. And suddenly Einstein's model begins to look less like the final answer and more like an incredibly accurate approximation. Like Newton's gravity was before relativity replaced it. And this realization opens a door that leads to a profound emotional twist. Your brain does not see reality directly. It receives signals and builds a model. Color is your brain translating wavelengths. Sound is your brain translating vibrations. Solidity is electromagnetic repulsion, interpreted as touch, meaning your experience of the world is a translation layer, not the source. And evolution did not design your senses to reveal truth. It designed them to help you survive. Seeing reality exactly as it is might actually be dangerous, because survival depends on useful illusions, not ultimate accuracy. Imagine a computer desktop. The icons represent files, but they are not the real circuits inside the computer. They are simplified symbols that make interaction easier. Some scientists now believe our perception of reality may function like a user interface, hiding the deeper truth beneath a simplified visual layer. And if this idea is correct, the world you experience is not fake, but it is not fundamental either. It is a survival interface. And the deeper physicists explore, the more reality begins to resemble information rather than objects, relationships rather than things, probabilities rather than certainty. Some theories suggest the universe may be fundamentally informational, a network of relationships where space and time emerge from deeper rules we barely understand. And this idea connects physics to technology in unexpected ways, because the same mathematics that describes quantum behavior powers encryption, computing, and artificial intelligence. The boundary between the physical and the digital begins to blur, and suddenly the future feels connected to the deepest structure of the universe itself. And this brings us to the final cliffhanger. If our perception is a simplified interface, if reality depends on interaction, if the universe is fundamentally interconnected, then the biggest question remains unanswered. What is reality when nobody observes in it? And if one day we finally discover the answer, will it feel like discovering truth, or like waking up from the longest illusion humanity has ever known? Because once you realize you might not be seeing reality as it truly is, every object becomes a mystery. Every moment becomes a question, and every certainty becomes temporary. And if this story changes the way you see the universe, subscribe to AED ID. Because the deeper we look, the stranger reality becomes, and the next discovery might make this one feel simple.